Setters, this video is going to be for you. What we're going to go over today is the importance of your role when it comes to the Heal at Home process. You are going to be keeping an eye on and keeping safe the person that you are setting for. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to check and make sure that there are no tripping hazards, no cords, no shoes, no blankets, nothing like that. Nothing in the way that, you know, when the person that you're setting for gets up, that they may trip or fall over. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark the time. Yep, you got to keep track of the time. The first thing that the person's going to do is they're going to take their microdose. They're going to wait 20 minutes. You need to keep on time for that. This way we can make sure that they don't have any kind of an allergic reaction. We've never had one, but it's always best to guard against it. And the microdose is only going to be about this much in a cup. Then you get to keep track of the time of the dosing for them, because as the tea starts to work and they start to kind of begin their experience, their sense of time is going to be totally distorted and totally lost. And that's where you come into play. Your first cup that you give them, you're going to wait 20 minutes before they get the second one. And then after that, you're going to wait 2 hours. The importance to that is making sure that the experience, if it's going to unfold on its own, it can take up to 2 hours to kick in. And if by chance we need to get them eat because their gallbladder doesn't drop, little bag of chips this size, about half, give it 20 minutes. And if that doesn't kick in, you'll give them some more. But the 2 cups that you've given them in that 2 hours, if they have to eat, is not going to be enough to overwhelm them. You're also going to want to have buckets. You want a bucket about like this, a very wide-brimmed mouth bucket. That way, if they do get ill, they've got plenty of room to do it in. And you want to have several of those. That way, just in case they need more than 1 or 2, you can just switch them out. You want to keep an eye on the person. So don't worry about cleaning the buckets until a little bit later. That way, you're there for them if they need it. You also need to know the different types of purges. Everybody talks about vomiting, everybody talks about diarrhea. Yes, those are part of the purges, but laughing is also a purge, crying is a purge. Tremors, where the person just kind of shakes, those are part of the purge. Tears, there are many different kinds. So, you know, if you see them laying there and they've got like little happy feet and their feet are just kicking a lot, that is a form of a purge. You also need to know the tenets that we use. The tenets that we use are for if things start happening a little fast, a little overwhelming. Okay, we tell the people as they're journeying, you know, keep these in mind. You need to be aware of them also. That way, if you need to help them through a kind of tough spot, you can do it. And you can do it in a way where you're not setting up triggers or anything like that. You're going to be telling them the same thing I would if I was sitting there. The first thing that we tell them to do is we tell them to just kind of open their eyes and look around. And we want them to breathe, to focus on their breath, just like they would do in a meditative kind of situation. They're going to in through the nose nice and deep and out through the mouth. They're going to and they're just going to focus on doing that. If you see them doing that, that means things are getting a little bumpy maybe. So you want to kind of keep a little closer eye. The second thing we tell them to do is relax. As they relax, the experience is going to relax. It's just like real life. When you're starting to get really stressed and really tensed up and everything closes in on you and it's harder to manage things, when you start to relax, everything kind of pulls back away and starts to get a little more manageable. The same thing will apply for them in their experience. We also tell them to go through it with zero judgment. Don't look at anything good, bad, holy, evil, light, dark. None of that applies. You need to go into this with a completely neutral state of mind, zero judgment, and then accept and allow, and it will pass. Now, the reason I tell you the last 2 is because those are also going to be a part of it. And if things get a little rough on them and you're sitting there with them, I want you to remind them to just breathe and relax. Just accept and allow, it's going to pass. And you want to do it in a very soft and warm tone. That's how I do it. If they're sitting here with me, I just tell them, just breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. It's okay. Just accept and allow, and it's gonna pass. And you want to handle it like that. Help them kind of reground and reapproach with their experience. Those are the key things for you to know when you're sitting with anyone who is doing this. Obviously, if they start breaking out in a rash, you know, showing any signs of something going seriously wrong, yes, you need to call 911. You don't wait it out, but don't jump the gun either. You know, if they get a little shaky, a little tremors, that's fine. You know, help them when they need to go to the bathroom if they seem a little wobbly. And they will seem a little wobbly, just walk them to the door, walk them back. But basically, you are babysitting a grown-up, just kind of like you would a 2-year-old. Think of it that way. And always, always, always safety first.
Well, thank you, Terry. I really do appreciate that. That was a very good guide for how to be a sitter. Just one or two things I'd like to add to that. We have never had to dial 911, but we don't want you to sit there if someone is choking and call us. You know, if you as a sitter decide it's a life-threatening situation, by all means call 911. But one of the most common things to happen for, how would you say, a person who's not necessarily seasoned into ayahuasca is when they experience soul separation, they may look at you and go, I'm dying, and really mean it. But it's not really happening. They're talking to you, they're breathing, and you need to remind them of that they're breathing, they're fine, everything just is. And you need to kind of, you know, just reassure them everything is okay. No matter how emphatically they say, I'm dying. It doesn't happen that often, but it happens often enough. I felt it needed to be addressed. But man, you're going to have a beautiful experience. We're going to be there working with you, and we appreciate all your help and all your patience. Again, Heal at Home, Steve and Terry. And guess what? Terry's back to full-time, which also means that we're going to be working out some of these Stevie mistakes, because Stevie kind of just dove in to see what would happen, and what happened was a huge response. So we're going to get things ironed out. Hang in there with us, trust us, and we're all going to work together for a better world. With that, I wish you well. Peace and progression.